After receiving several reports, Derby police are warning of a new scam. So we've told you about this before, but they're getting a lot of reports now. 12 News reporter Rachel Hallam talked to the police department about the text message scam and how to keep yourself from becoming a victim.
The Kansas Turnpike Authority confirmed Friday Kansas residents may be receiving fraudulent text messages. After several reports, Derby police have confirmed the exact same scam.
We did receive a lot of different reports from citizens. As far as we know, no one's out any money. However, they want to make people aware, and we've had even officers' family members receiving these messages, so we wanted to make sure the public was aware as well.
This latest scam is known as smishing, and it looks just like this. You'll receive a text message from someone posing as the KTA requesting a payment for unpaid tolls. So should you experience something like this, Derby Police has some advice.
Our recommendation is always to go and do research into wherever they're saying that you owe. I would research and contact the Kansas Turnpike Authority to make sure if you had those tolls or not.
Captain Karenza Schiffel says she sees there are certain people who become victims to these scams.
It tends to be more people that are looking for a human connection, and so as they have that more human connection through someone, they're more willing to give information.
She adds this is something that can destroy many people's lives.
It's painful to see people lose their life savings, lose their livelihoods over scams.
In Derby, Rachel Hallam, 12 News.